Board of Directors of Sandy Pines to order. Our first order of business is the invocation.
If you would pray with me, please. Father God, as we take time here tonight, we enjoy this place so much. You can see the passion in everyone's eyes and in their hearts for Sandy Pines. Today we have a lot to talk about, Father God. We ask for cool hearts and minds. We have conversation. We understand as we look forward to the future of the park, making sure everything is in its right place and right order to go forward. Lord, this meeting tonight, we ask you to glorify. We ask you to glorify your Son, glorify him today. Father God, this country is in need of you so much. Each of us is in need of your Son, our risen Savior. Father God, as tonight, as I said, we do the business of Sandy Pines. Let us not forget what an amazing place this is, amazing people sit next to each other here tonight. And I thank the board as well, Father God, for serving, to have servants' hearts. And we ask all this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Stand to the I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kimberly, could you get a roll call for us, please?
Alan Carpenter.
Here.
Rick Day.
Here.
Bob Deckinga.
Here.
Pat Dosman.
Here.
Kelly Johnson.
Here.
Paul Epple.
Here.
Stephanie Sicania.
Here.
Craig Van Beek.
Here.
Scott Wyman.
Here.
All present.
Our next order of business is the approval of new park members for June of 2024. Jeff, could you give us some demographics and information on the new members?
Yes, I would love to. All right, so June sales, we had 24 sales. 14 of those sales were through our sales department. 7 were through our FSBO, for sale by owner process, and then 3 transfers. We had a total of 36 new members, 3 in their 20s, 5 in their 30s, 12 in their 40s, 5 in their 50s, 8 in their 60s, and 3 in their 70s. And that's the summary for June sales, 2024.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the new members as presented.
So moved.
Second. That was Bob and all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Our next order of business is the approval of the notes from the June 2024 Board of Directors meeting. Do any of the Board of Directors have questions or corrections for those notes?
Motion to approve as presented.
That was Rick and Kelly. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we're going to discuss some of the financial reports. Rick, as treasurer, do you have any comments?
I'd just say that the Finance Committee did meet last Wednesday for 2 hours and reviewed all the documentation that was provided, and the recommendation from the Finance Committee is to approve the financials as presented to the board.
Thank you. Kimberly, could you give us a rundown of the June 2024 Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails financial statements?
Of course. Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails financial statements for June 2024. Operation cash is up, it's down 13.6% or $646,000 compared to last year. The operation cash will be replenished through the asset replacement cash at the end of the fiscal year to replenish the portion for the pool construction. The May days cash on hand currently is at 198 days. The Charles Schwab investment account did increase in the month of June with an overall increase of 75,000 or 740, increase of 75% or 746,000 since the original $1 million investment. Overall liabilities for the month of June total 479,000, providing a 1.7% debt to equity ratio. The total net income for the month of June is 1.727 million, which is 1.2% higher than last year in June. The calculated net profit margin for the month of June is 24%. On a departmental level, administration net income for June is down 86,000 year-to-date compared to last year. I will note for your review of the financial statements that last year's miscellaneous income amounts in admin did include the isolated one-time employee retention payment equal to 99,000. Inspection income is picking up with the review of projects within the park and application of payments of permits with a pickup of 14,000 alone in June. We are seeing a great increase in the rental of facilities over last year, specifically interest in the North Shore Center right here. This is overall a 5,500 increase over last year's June revenue amount for facilities. Tree removal expense is down, but will be picking up over the remaining of the year as necessary trees are removed for safety concerns. Maintenance net income is 8,000 less than last year, year-to-date. While we are seeing increased costs in wages due to additional maintenance work with the added amenities, the holding income is picking up revenue to compensate for some of the increased maintenance costs reflective of those services. Public safety is up 9,000 compared to prior year. We're noticing in the month of June an increase in gas passes with the season opening, and expenses are maintaining a close margin to the costs last year to date. Recreation is picking up activity in the month of June with this season opening as well. We are noticing $2,000 gross increase in Happy Shack sales this year compared to last year. Salaries and wages for recreation have increased from prior year, but are reflected in a comparison to budget with the expectations of the new amenities added since last year. Resource services for the month of June reflect the member billings for the quarterly electric, as well as the monthly utilities and service contract expenses with cable, electric, insurance, and depreciation. Park and Garden is off to a great start in the month of June and is 35,560 up compared to 27,000 from prior year. The significant savings is reflective of a reduction in the cost of goods sold, but also the restructure of salaries with the country store and country cafe being revamped over to the retail center. Overall, Park and Garden net income is up 36,000 compared to prior year. The golf cart rental department is also up 8,000 or 8% compared to last year. The retail center is also showing a positive margin compared to the net loss it was showing last year. Again, this is related to the addition of the dairy dip, the transfer over of the country store and country cafe over to the retail location. The dairy dip is showing an overall net profit of 25,000 as of June year to date. The cafe is showing a net profit of 1,500. While the country store is showing a net loss of 19,000, the majority of that is held within the cost of goods sold and held in the inventory that is there within the store, and since it is early in the season. The sales from the new gasoline pump is also up, and overall the retail is off to a great start. The sales department is showing an increased margin, and net income is up 39% compared to last year to date. This is attributable to the increase in sales through the park, as well as sales through the transfers, and a $12,000 increase in capping revenue compared to last year. That concludes my review for Sandy Pines.
Do any of the board members have questions or comments on the Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails financial statements for June of 2024? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. All. Support.
That was fun.
All.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Our next order of business are the Lake Monterey Golf Course financials for June of 2024. Kimberly, could you give us some information?
Yes. Lake Monterey Golf Course financial statements as of June 30, 2024, year to date. Cash is up $267,000 compared to last year. I do want to reflect that the golf course did end on a good note last year, so you're seeing part of that reflected there. Another portion of that is a regular occurrence of the payoff of accounts receivable from Sandy Pines. So that's membership accounts receivable, so as members golf at the golf course, that being paid off during the year. Overall, the net income for Lake Monterey for June 2024 year to date compared to last year is up $60,000 and at a 29% net profit. This is significantly attributable to increases across the board with green fees. Member green fees alone is up $17,000 compared to last year. Taxable food sales, although they have changed the structure of the focus on the food sales, they are still bringing in a net increase of $552. So they haven't really lost income there and are doing well when you look at the net portion of that. Beer and wine sales is up $4,124. Merchandise sales is up a net amount of $2,834. Overall salaries and wages is reduced about $17,000. A portion of this is because we did have a double overlap with the general manager last year with training, but also the golf course has done a remarkable job in maintaining the activities within there and trying to pull back on some of the hourly and the directors, managers, and that department are putting out some of that work to reduce that cost, and it's showing. The general insurance, the expense of that is up a little bit, but we are noticing that across the board with all insurance costs increasing. So overall, we are noticing a little bit of a decrease in overall expenses of about $23,000, but a net overall increase in net income, again, as I said, of $60,000. And that concludes my review of Lake Monterey.
Do any of the board members have questions or comments on the June 2024 Lake Monterey Golf Course financial statements?
Motion to accept is presented.
Second by Pat. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Kimberly, could you give us some preliminary budget review information, please?
Yep. As stated, on a month-to-month basis, we have been reviewing the budget for both Sandy Pines and the golf course on a monthly basis. So we started that off right away in March with a review of what CPI was. Again, March 2024, CPI was equal to 2.8%. And so that will be an increase of $46 to the annual dues and assessments per member. $40 of that will be allocated to the operational dues, while 6% will be allocated to the annual capital. The reason for that change is because as we are noticing inflation markers hitting both operation expenses as well as capital expenses, we need to allocate that money appropriately so we can incur those costs separately. It will not bear any interest in how we're dividing that increase for the membership. We have continued to review each area of the budget, taking a different focus each month. I did meet with each department, started with maintenance, met with the maintenance director individually, then I met with both the security and safety director, as well as recreation and park and garden, and then golf course. So we are looking specifically at each area. I do have 2 budget meetings set for next month to look at that individually. We did look specifically at the capital projects that need to take place. We do have a capital town hall meeting that will be coming up as we are nearing the expiration in a couple years of the capital reserve. So there are big questions ahead of what will the park be doing when that comes to expire. And looking at the future and needs within the park. The other focus is just within the operational costs, as we are seeing that across the board. So we are looking at different areas that really exhaust our resources and exhaust our expenses within the park, and seeing the best area to bring that revenue in. Our focus is not to hit the members directly, but look at outside sources too. So as the members are incurring the cost of the 2.8% increase with CPI, we are planning to increase those same costs on the camping level. So our outside campers and also the seasonals are going to notice the same increase effect as well. And then we are looking at the significant fees that directly relate to the expenses that they incur. So we will be taking a direct dive deeper into that as we get more information as the season continues and we get the month of June or July financials completed. We'll be able to see a little bit more of what we're recognizing. Overall, I do want to say within the capital side of things, and we will be looking at this more with the town hall, we are looking again at receiving as much income as we can from outside of the park. And the millions of dollars that have been brought in just over the past few years with the FEMA projects have greatly reduced the cost that it would be for Sandy Pines to build the buildings alone, specifically in phase 3, the one we're in right now, and the one that's coming up in CC1. And again, I can't stress the millions of dollars that this park has been graciously provided from the state and the federal government. So I'm thankful to the individuals who have helped us maintain those funds for the park, because it definitely has made a significant impact on our Sandy Pines today. And I will share more of that next month, and as well when we do have the capital town meeting in a few weeks, couple weeks. And that concludes my review of the budget.
Thank you, Kimberly. I would like to thank everybody for coming out on this beautiful summer night, although as you may notice, I'm cold. I've been cold for 2 days. Some of what we're going to discuss tonight is obviously difficult and complicated, but it's important that we protect our campground status for many reasons. The board has been working on this all season and reviewing things and investigating and discussing. And I really want to thank all of my fellow board members for their hard work, and you know, we will proceed forward and we'll discuss those resolutions shortly. I also am looking very forward to Christmas here at Sandy Pines. It's a time when we see the wonder in our family and friends' faces at how this campground transforms into a Christmas wonderland, and it's just such a magical time. And if you're new and you haven't enjoyed this, please plan on decorating and getting out and enjoying everybody else's decorations. Jeff?
Yeah, thank you, Al. Again, thank you for everybody for turning out. Looking forward to having a good discussion here and a good meeting. This is important because I can't tell you how many times I've had members come into my office and say, "Hey, I heard on Facebook. Hey, I heard on this." Those aren't the official communications. So thank you for coming out and listening to what we've been going through, what we're going to present. This is the information that we've been working tirelessly on since the beginning of the season. We've had again, thank you to the members for coming out to the town halls. We try to get you as much information in as many different avenues as possible. Ian has done a great job with on-the-scene town halls, board meetings, the website, our official Facebook page. So just continue to look at those areas. And I can't stress enough, most of my day yesterday was open door, answering questions, having conversations. So if you have any questions, Kimberly from a financial standpoint, myself, we continue to be available and have you guys come in and have a direct conversation. So, I want to thank you for that. And I guess we can talk more about some of the other topics when we get there, but some of this is going to be challenging, some of this is going to be emotional. So again, we're trying to present as much information, make good decisions for the betterment of the park. And, again, please keep in mind that be respectful, and we just appreciate your patience and understanding. Because these are some challenging things, and again, I applaud our staff and the board with going after some of these challenging things that, may should have been addressed a while ago. So, just continue to bear with us and our decisions and our processes to make certain that we continue to have this beautiful place that we've been blessed with for years to come, well after we're all gone. So, that's all I have. Good.
Okay, thank you. Jeff, could you give us some information on item A and item B of old business?
Would love to. So, the property over by the golf course, everybody familiar with that? You guys know what we're talking about? Okay. So that property came up about 2 months ago for sale. So we did put an offer on it. One of the writing questions I might as well address now is, hey, why are we buying the property with, kind of weird looking manufactured home, mobile home on there? That's right in the middle of our footprint for our golf course. And if you look at that, one of the surprising things for us when we walked the facility in the property was how much space is behind that trailer. That backyard backs all the way up to our split rail fence in phase 4. So we're our own best neighbor sometimes, right? But we want to make certain that we control our own destiny with owning the property as it comes up surrounding Sandy Pines. That could have been somebody extended an offer. They could have built, a different home on there. They could have been, trashing our golf course. They might not have been a nice neighbor like the older gentleman that was there for many years. So when we see those opportunities, we try to make certain that we protect our footprint for the members as well as the overall organization. Again, we did put an offer in on it, and they were asking $220,000. We did have some comps for that. The comps were as low as $126,000, but it was a smaller mobile home, no decking, no outbuildings, and the highest comp I want to say was around 205. We put an offer in at 190. And it was accepted. So we're in the process of going through that purchase transaction right now. We just had the septic inspection. We should get a report on that, and then we'll go through the closing process. So exciting. The immediate thing that we're looking at with that property is we're going to remove some of that structure that's there. We want to try and flip that mobile home. If you're not aware, a lot of the park models that come out of here, those mobile homes, will get bought up and sent up to northern Michigan for people on hunting lands and things of that nature. So we've been told there's still some value there, so we can recoup some of that cost. But where that's sitting now, there's a tee box that's shooting back towards the road. And I will admit, I've hit into the road a few times. So this is going to make that longer. One of the feedback items that we get from members and public play is the back 9 is par 3 and it's really short, so we do lose some play. We're definitely going to extend the one hole to a par 4. We're going to take a look at maybe extending the other one. That one heading up towards the property, towards the mobile home there. That one's going to be a little challenging because you have to completely pick up a green and move it. And that can be pretty expensive. So, and then there's some other plans in place for that we're talking about that is going to go in that back area behind where the mobile home's at. So This is a good thing for Sandy Pines, this is a good thing for the golf course, so stay tuned, we'll keep moving forward on that one. Item B, so the trailer modification follow-up. Just want to do a recap on this topic. So at the beginning of the season, we sit down with our contractors, we sit down with our park inspector, we sit down with the township, and we kind of go over, hey, it's a kickoff meeting for development in the park. We were advised that we're doing a ton of development in this park that we may or may not should be doing, and we're overdeveloping in this park. That may or may not impact our campground license. So in April, we kicked off some actions to try and figure out what we need to do. We've had multiple meetings with the contractors. We had one in March, we had another one in April. We sent out a contractor letter to all the contractors. No more cutting out of walls, putting walls on porches, basically opening up the park models. No more, can't do it. We sent that letter out to the membership as well in May. We have exhausted, and we continue to try and dig up additional information, but we've exhausted, we've talked to code expert in the industry, we've traveled to park model manufacturers to watch the process, ask these questions that are, tough questions that are in front of us. We've talked to national and regional and local campgrounds. What are they doing? What are they seeing? What are their rules? How are they enforcing these things? We've talked to state RV agencies, gotten information from them. We continue to dig up as much information as we can. At the end of all of those conversations have been, why are you opening up your walls? Why are you taking out your sliders? Why are you, when you buy a park model is manufactured from the manufacturer, and it has to be stamped, fully enclosed, waterproof, so it can travel over the road. That's how it gets to Vacation Land. When Vacation Land delivers it, they deliver it in the park. That seal remains, and it's certified. When we start opening up walls and removing things, we have now changed the identity, changed the actual park model from being an enclosed unit that can travel over the road to something else. Is it a cottage? Is it a home? What? Agencies that we've talked to as well and visited. So it hasn't been a fun topic. I'm not gonna lie, I've learned a lot through this entire process of what we can do and we can't do, and we've probably done some of these things for a while. So we're trying to manage the protection of our campground license. We're trying to understand where the membership is with some of these things. And we're trying to put a plan in place to get us back to where we need to be. And that's what we've been diligently working on. Out of the town hall, we had a work session, a workshop with just the board on a specific topic. We spent about 3 hours in the locked room, passionate conversation on things. We had a regular work session this week. The topic has come up as well. One thing that I will pull up and I will read, we've also had our legal counsel involved in this. And I will pull this up here. So from our legal counsel, Bar Lichterman, Members of Sandy Pines, as corporate counsel for Sandy Pines, I was asked to assist in drafting an amendment to the rules regarding modifications to park model trailers and RVs at Sandy Pines. Why was this necessary? Several reasons. First, Sandy Pines is licensed by the state of Michigan as a seasonal RV park. Park model trailers and RVs are permitted. However, if RVs and park model trailers are structurally modified so that they lose their identity as either an RV or park model trailers, unfortunately, it could affect Sandy Pines' license with the state of Michigan as a seasonal RV park. So a clarification to the rules and regulations is necessary to prevent this from happening in the future, and to show good faith in remedying any past structural modifications that resulted in RVs and or park model trailers losing their identities as such. Second, Sandy Pines pays a hefty property tax bill every year as a result of the amazing facilities and overall value of real estate. However, the RVs and park model trailers are exempt from real estate taxes and personal property taxes. However, if RVs and or park model trailers are structurally modified so that they no longer meet the definition of an RV or park model trailer, then the exemption disappears, and all RVs and or park model trailers that no longer meet the definition of such could be subject to personal property taxation over and above the real estate taxes. This number would be significant and would have to be passed on to memberships through additional assessment. We are trying to avoid that through this rule clarification. Third, members who have structurally modified their RV and or park model trailers to increase the living space with the additional conditioned space as defined by applicable regulations could face liability risk if something were to happen within that space, resulting in loss of property or injury. The rule clarification is necessary to mitigate that risk for members. The board and I have worked hard on this rule clarification. It certainly was not the path we wanted to go down and not the result we desired. Because of that, we exhausted every option and researched every nook and cranny of applicable codes only to come to the same conclusion that there are risks if a remedy is not put in place. The board, acting in the best interest of the park and its members, has chosen a path which I, as corporate counsel, support and endorse as appropriate to mitigate risk moving into the future. Everyone has carefully listened to the valid concerns and understand the impact of this decision. However, when balancing the impact against the very real risks in play, in my opinion, the board has chosen the right path for the future financial stability of the park and its members. Contrary to what's being spoken out on social media, this isn't a one or two person show. We have gone out and looked at and talked to a ton of people on this. This is a risk. In the 90s, how many were here in 1998? Okay. So in 1998, there was a court case against Sandy Pines for taxation. We won that, and part of that plan we have is to get back to make certain that we don't get taxed. We're in a good spot for, you can't make this a permanent residence. There's 180 days. We shut down the season with water, when we shut off the water. You can only have park models and RVs in here. The risk that we're seeing when we talk to external agents, external companies, campgrounds, whatever you want to call it, as well as our legal group, is the 400 square foot that a park model has to maintain. When we open that up, we're increasing our living space. And that's the concern. And that's what we're trying to get answers on and a plan to get back to where we need to be. I know it's not fun. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like it. I don't like to live in this community, but we're gonna have to get a plan in place to try and move forward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna get through all this together. So that's the summary that I have for item B, 9B.
Can we ask questions?
We'll have open questioning and comments. Again, the process for this is we'll go through the board meeting. Board meeting will adjourn, and then we can ask questions. That's the half hour. We might extend that a little bit. Obviously, we got a full house here. I leave that up to Ellen and the board as to how many questions we want.
Do we not have an opportunity to speak before the resolution passes? Because if we speak after the end of the meeting, the resolution will pass. That's a fair question.
You've had opportunity to speak. We've had town halls. The resolution has been posted out there for 30 days. As of Monday, there were 2 people that commented on it. Today, it went up to 15 to 18. So our process has always been, from a board perspective on resolutions, from what I understand back in the day, it was, here's a resolution, boom, we're both voting on it, it's done, and it's not a discussion, okay? That changed, 4 or 5 years ago, when we said, this was read in June, we posted it on the website, we put communication out there, it's on the agenda, we've had town halls on it, we've had opportunities to have this conversation for about 30 days. So now,
Just one question, my family, we are just hearing about this. Now, I realize this warrant might be blasted out there, but I think that why there's a lot of folks here. We need to have a family discussion. We're all members here, and I would plead with you to take a little bit of breathing room and not slam dunk this thing through, slam the gavel down, say that it's been resolved without letting the family have a discussion about this. Amen.
Maybe this is the first time you've heard about it, but you were sent a letter. We read the resolutions at the last board meeting. We had town halls. The resolutions were posted on the website. We had plenty of time.
What I mean by family discussion, if I may, is, I'm not trying to talk about
Well,
what I mean by a family discussion is there's a lot of people that there could be some legitimate hardships.
well, and what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have a legitimate hardship, is that you bring your paperwork into the office and we can look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, now what I would define as a hardship, honestly, and I really don't think I'm wrong, is that there's a lot of folks here that if it costs $2,000, it's going to create a hardship.
Well, what I'm going to say about that is, if we lose our license and we have to go into a different kind of format, if we became a seasonal mobile home park, we would have to have sewers, we would have to have full water, we would have to have updated electrical, and a lot of the units in this park would not be able to stay. And that would be a hardship. You know, we are moving on. Everybody had an opportunity to come to previous meetings. And you're disrupting, no.
Please, I sent an email to the board. I asked you to please send out a letter to the community. The first letter that was
We sent out, ma'am, could you please sit down?
No, let me talk. I
She's not time to talk after.
No, this is before.
Excuse me.
I sent a letter that said, please inform everybody in this community that it was a retroactive resolution.
What I'm going to say about this, and it may not make me a popular person, but as members of this community, you need to read your footprints, read your emails, and come to meetings. You're all here and demanding to be heard. We've given you opportunities to be heard, and you pass them. It's a lot easier and much more fun to get on Facebook than it is to read official information. And we will have a period of discussion afterwards. And everybody needs to be polite.
What did you purchase the place that was already permitted that way though?
Case by case basis and questions after. At this time, I'm going to ask Paul to give us some information on the committee.
My question is this. Why is it 4 years, the neglect of the leadership and administration here, and now it's going to cost us to correct your mistake?
Ruth?
Would anyone else like to run for the board?
Sure.
All right, well,
You asked the question, I'm answering.
Meet the Candidates is being held tomorrow. Obviously, we have a lot of difficult decisions that we have to make, and I'm sure that you are very anxious to learn about the future leadership of the board. We have 3 open positions. There are 4 individuals that are running for those open positions. Tomorrow morning here in the North Shore, between 9 and 10:30, we will have the opportunity to have a Q&A with these potential candidates. They're not potential candidates, they are candidates, potential future board members, so that you can learn more about them and make an informed decision when we all vote in August. So that'll be coming up tomorrow, right here, 9 to 10:30.
I have one thing I have to say.
Excuse me, you didn't say it
No,
at
I
7:30.
have to say.
Moving on.
The proposal was
Jeff,
listed.
did you give us an update on the 10-year capital town hall on August 3rd?
You have not said how long we have to handle it. You've not said it.
So, August 3rd, we will have our 10-year capital meeting. Again, as Kimberly stated, our 10-year capital reserve is coming up to an end here in the next couple of years. We're going to need a plan for that as well. And we're going to go through the original capital reserve budget, the plan, the project, and then some of the items that we think we need to take a look at in the future. Again, we are a 53-year-old park, and infrastructure will continue to need to be updated and upgraded. So we'll have that here, August 3rd, I believe 9 to 10:30.
Thank you. At this time, we have 2 new members of the Long Range Planning Committee that have been approved by the committee to be considered by the board. Scott, you're the liaison for this committee. Do you have anything to say about these new members?
Yes, we had a board meeting Tuesday. These gentlemen were attended, so we think they'd be a very good fit for the committee, and I'd like to make a motion we accept them on the committee. I'm sorry, that's important.
Okay.
Bruce Hanson and Phil Hunter.
Here?
I don't see him.
After they stand up here.
I don't see him.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. I am going to read these resolutions one by one. The board members will have an opportunity to comment. We will vote. After we vote on these resolutions, we will adjourn the meeting, and then you're going to have an opportunity for questions and answers.
You're making a mistake.
Resolution number 062124B, resolution to amend Rulebook Handbook. Whereas the bylaws of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated, Article 8, Section 6E, gives the Board of Directors the power to adopt, amend, rescind, and repeal rules and regulations relating to the use of Sandy Pines property and the conduct of its members and their guests. Whereas Rule Section 5, items requiring to permit Sandy Pines and Township, subsection B, screened porch enclosures, currently provides, item 5, no bedrooms or enclosed rooms on the porch. Item 9, 2 porches, maximum per site if space allows, and the inspector gives approval. That was dated 05/2016. Whereas the Board of Directors for the health, safety, and welfare of Sandy Pines believes it is in the best interest of Sandy Pines to amend and clarify the rules and regulations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the following amendments and additions to the rules and regulations relating to Section 4, items requiring to permit Sandy Pines and Township, subsection B, screened porch enclosures. Item 5, no bedrooms, enclosed rooms, walls, or barriers of any types on porches. Porch interiors must be fully open and visible from perimeter wall to perimeter wall and floor to ceiling. Item 9, effective August 1st, 2024, only 1 porch per site per membership is allowed. Porch must be affixed to main RV unit if space allows, and the inspector provides written approvals. Existing sites with 2 porches will be grandfathered in from this date. Item 10, all necessary permits are obtained from the appropriate governing body. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the above resolution. Do any of the board members have comments on this?
That's not what was posted. That's not the verbiage that was posted. That's not even close. That is not the posted verbiage. Go online and look at it.
It's 2 different resolutions.
It's right there.
This is a different resolution, and within the guidelines of our bylaws, the board has a right to come up with resolutions. Any board members have comments?
Hold on, you just said it was posted for 30 days. You just,
That is not
reprimanded all these people.
Excuse me.
You just reprimanded all these people.
Excuse me. We do that for the educational purposes.
Okay, but don't act like you don't like that.
Motion. Second?
No.
You just changed
Not
it.
what was posted.
It's not how it's posted online.
Kimberly, can you do a roll call?
Yes. You want the people to
Any
vote.
board member on the motion?
Are there more comments? Okay. It's hard to hear.
Yes, I'd like to make one. This is different language that was posted 30 days ago. I would like to say that we table this and vote on it the next meeting.
And it's on the table.
You just opened it up for questions.
I opened it up, excuse me. If you want to run for board, you should have put in a couple of months ago.
Well, yeah.
Roll call.
Yeah, so hold up, okay. Calm down. So, the one that is online, you're accurate, the one that is online that's been posted for 30 days, this has changed coming out of feedback from our workshop. It was recommended that the issue is when we have a second porch, that is where the walls are getting cut out. So this was posted for 30 days. We had our workshop last Friday. We had a work session on Monday. On Resolution B, 0 comments from the membership. During that workshop, online, 0 comments, during that workshop, a board member recommended we remove 2 porches, remove the second porch moving forward. If you have a porch now, if you have 2 porches, the resolution says that is the Sandy Pines rule. We can grandfather Sandy Pines rules in. If you have 2 porches, great, you get to keep them. In order to stop the modification of the park model trailers, the board recommended to remove any second porch options going forward. That's what's changed.
And that's fine, but what happens to those of us who might not have a wall when we sell? Nobody can answer that.
That's not relevant to this resolution.
But nobody can answer it. If I sell, do I have to put a wall back in? It's a case by case. It's
We're
favoritism.
considering a resolution. We will answer questions after we adjourn this meeting.
After you vote it in, and then when we sell, you can tell us we have to put a wall back in. That's the concern. Nobody has
Any other comments? From the board.
Somebody clarify what grandfather, what that word covers? So we all are understanding.
So in our Sandy Pines rule book, there's a term that says grandfather. We can grandfather Sandy Pines rules. So if we make a change such as this, if you want a second porch now, effective August 1st, you're not going to be able to get one. If you have 2 porches now, you're grandfathered in. Nobody's going to come knocking on your door saying, you got to remove your second porch because of the new rule. That is a Sandy Pines rule. Okay? We can grandfather those in. When you read the Sandy Pines rule for grandfather, the thing that we cannot grandfather in are state laws. And we're getting close to violating state laws with our campground if we continue to modify these park models.
You said continue. That's fine. Nobody's got a problem with continuing. But we're talking about when we sell, we have to go backwards. That doesn't make any sense. Nobody has a problem going. We have to go.
We're going to deal with these issues on a case-by-case basis. We're going to go ahead and vote on this resolution as the board of directors will be voting.
Table it.
Can we get a second? Can we get a second on Scott's? Can we get a second on Scott's?
Call for the question.
Nobody has a problem with that. Nobody has a problem.
Resolution number 62124.
Who was the motion for the Alan Carpenter?
Yes.
Rick Day?
Yes.
Bob Martino?
No.
Pat Bosma?
Yes.
Kelly Johnson?
Yes.
Paul Papel?
Yes.
Stephanie Stefano?
Yes.
Craig Van Beek?
Yes.
Scott Wyman?
Yes.
So just for clarity, I'm sure you noticed already, because there was that second motion made, there was already a motion on the floor that was seconded, so that second one does not supersede it. So the first motion would have to fail to go to Scott's motion, just so everyone understands.
Resolution number 062124C. Resolution to amend Blue Book handbook. Whereas bylaws.
Helen, excuse me. That's not right. Be quicker than this one. Yeah. Can we do A first?
Do A
Would you mind?
Why?
because
It's gonna be quicker than this one.
Well, yeah, we can get it.
D. Let's do it here. D.
We can do that one first because, but I expect everybody to, you know,
Let's do
maintain.
A first.
It's A.
Resolution number 071924A, resolution to amend rulebook handbook. Whereas the bylaws of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated, Article 8, Section 6E gives the Board of Directors the power to adopt, amend, rescind, and repeal rules and regulations relating to the use of Sandy Pines property and the conduct of its members and their guests. Whereas Rule Section 13, Watercraft Regulations, subsection F, Watercraft Rules and Regulations, Item 19 provides water skiing, pulling tubers, and wake surfing. H, usage of the ballast function or any alteration to any boat for the purpose of producing waves for any activity is prohibited. All wake surfing is not permitted. Whereas the Board of Directors for the health, safety, and welfare of Sandy Pines believes that it is in the best interest of Sandy Pines to amend and clarify the rules and regulations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the following amendments and additions to the rules and regulations relating to Section 13, Watercraft Regulations, subsection F, Watercraft Rules and Regulations, Item 19H, located on page 29 of the Sandy Pines Rules, Regulations, and Bylaws Handbook. Item 19, water skiers, pulling tubers, wake surfing, and wake foiling. H, usage of the ballast function, any boat manufactured, featured, or any alteration to a boat for the purpose of producing waves for any activity is prohibited. All wake surfing and foiling is not permitted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the above resolution. Do we have any comments from board members? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Support it.
Kimberly, could you do the roll call, please?
Stephanie Santana.
Yes.
Craig Van Beek.
Yes.
Scott Wyman.
Yes.
Alan Carpenter.
Yes.
Rick Day.
Yes.
Bob Buckingham.
Yes.
Pat Osma.
Yes.
Kelly Johnson.
Yes.
And Paul Knuckle.
Yes.
All approved.
Okay. Resolution number 062124C, resolution to amend rulebook handbook. Whereas the bylaws of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated, Article 8, Section 6E gives the Board of Directors the power to adopt, amend, rescind, and repeal rules and regulations relating to the use of Sandy Pines property and the conduct of its members and their guests. Whereas Sandy Pines is a licensed campground with camping units defined as park model RVs subject to ANSI 119.2 and 119.5 code construction with maximum 400 square feet livable space where RVIA or RPTIA seals are required and applied to the manufacturer to maintain RV maximum 400 square foot livable space and construction requirements.
Can I stop for a minute?
No.
You have an error in there, a spelling error. Please change RVAI to RIVA.
It's RVIA.
RVIA, not the A and the I are switched, okay? It should be RIVA instead of RVAI.
Got it, thank you.
Okay?
Whereas camping units with RVAI, RVIA. Okay, there's where the spelling. That needs to be RVIA. And RPTIA, seals applied from manufacturers become void if modified or altered from its original identity. Whereas Rule Section 2, Site Development and Regulations, subsection B, camping units, does not address camping unit, park model, or trailer modifications. Whereas if changes are made to the park model RVs that create more than 400 square feet, it could result in a significant increase to the taxable value of both real and personal property taxes at Sandy Pines, which could thereby increase the dues owed by members to cover the increased taxes. Whereas the Board of Directors for the health, safety, and welfare of Sandy Pines believes it is in the best interest of Sandy Pines to amend and clarify the rules and regulations. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the following amendments and additions to the rules and regulations relating to Section 2, Site Development and Regulations, subsection B, camping units. Item 11, camping unit, park model, trailer modifications, added to pages 37 and 38 of the Sandy Pines Rules, Regulations, and Bylaws Handbook. Item 11, camping unit, park model, trailer modifications. Any modifications to a camping unit, park model, or trailer altering its identity as such is strictly prohibited as it voids the required RVIA and RPTIA seals, certifications, and maximum 400 square foot livable space requirements. Prohibited alterations means any change to the original identity of the unit that increases the area either living or storage of the unit. Alteration means replacement, addition, and modification or removal, doors, windows, sliders, walls, etc., of any equipment or installation after sale by a manufacturer to a retailer or distributor prior to sale by the retailer to a purchaser, which may affect the construction, fire safety, occupancy, plumbing, heat producing, or electrical system. It includes any modifications to the unit that may affect the compliance of the unit with the standards of its conditioned space. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the above resolution. At this time, I'll open it to comments from board members.
Okay, I oppose this resolution. I've opposed it from the first day it was written, and it's changed 3 times. This is different than what we even had yesterday. So I feel like we're under the gun trying to right the wrong from the last 4 years. And I think it takes some time to get this thing right. It's just, to me, it's ambiguous. I don't deny the inspector's office was lax over the last 4 years, and that's obvious because now we have 2 inspectors and 1 clerk now, so obviously he was overworked. They were overworked, excuse me. I'm not opposed to add some language going forward to the trail modifications, removal of doors, windows, sliders, etc. But what about the plumbing, the heat producing, electrical? What does that include, and who decides that? How do we handle members who have had preventive work done in their places, and do they have to become compliant now? When? We don't know. And I think we need to provide detail what is involved rather than leave it to one's interpretation. As I said, this is that was posted, so people haven't had a chance to see it.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this resolution. Until we investigate these changes further. It seems as we're moving quickly because of changing from 1 park inspector to another in the last 3 and 4 months. ANSI, A-N-S-I. That means American National Standards Institute. And it's 19119.5. Standards are recommendations. It's like the good housekeeping seal of approval. It is not law.
There you go.
It has some good suggestions. OSHA is law. Occupation safety hazards. And HUD is law. A park model is called a park model, which is a PMRV. Park Model Recreation Vehicle. It's not a manufactured house. I sold manufactured houses. Some were double wides, some were 14 by 70, some were 16 by 80. Those have HUD requirements. As I said, this is an ANSI standards and not mandatory. They're good suggestions. We want ANSI standards when a home comes in here. We don't want someone coming in with a school bus that they put together on their own, that you don't know if the gas is going to go up or go down, or the electric is hooked up right. When these campgrounds are open, you want one that's ANSI approved. But it doesn't mean everything ANSI says we have to do. OSHA will sometimes adopt ANSI standards, making them enforceable, and that's required by law. ANSI 1195 is the RV industry stamp of good housekeeping, as I said. How aggressive is Eagle? That's my question. Environmental Great Lakes Energy. I heard we have to go to 2-inch walls for reports instead of 3-inch walls. It snows in Michigan. I'm in Florida. I want the roof to stay up in the winter. I know we have to talk about the conditioning of the trailer and the conditioning of the added room. But I think if Eagle stands for Environmental Great Lakes Energy, when they hear that we have 2-inch walls and 3 or 4-inch roofs, they're going to say, wow, if you put an air conditioner in there, you lose a whole lot more energy than if you have 3-inch walls with insulation and a 6-inch roof with insulation. I would ask them the question, what do you want us to do? Use more energy than ever before? I think some of you remember there was a time when we didn't have enough power here, and some of those green boxes had to be throw water on top of them to keep them from getting overheated. I wasn't here, but I thought I heard that from somebody. My question is, an enclosed addition should be energy efficient. Eagle could say, please insulate better. I personally would like to know what condition space means from Eagle. I can't find that anyplace. I heard it, but I can't find it. The other last question I have is, do we have hard numbers of what it will cost to tax the property that we don't own? All we own is the equipment, the trailer, the park model, with the siding or not. The point is, the person, the contact, do I want Eagle in here any more than anybody else? No. But we should get a clear idea of what we are expected to have done and when it has to be done. We took out in the very first resolution a sunset, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We grandfathered those in. I was in a meeting and I said, are you kidding me? A campground with 1,000 square feet, 400 for the home, 350 and 350. Somebody's going to come in and say, holy cow, is that a campground? And we decided maybe a 3-sided unit, the park model and one on each side, is bigger than a campground should be. And so that's where some of the first resolution came through. We modified that from previously. I'm concerned that the questions in the back, this would be a hardship for some people if you have to decide to move, and then you have to put all these things back together, and you have to take theoretically, they could say, your park model is good. You still have your siding door in there, and we can go down the road. But you got to get rid of that addition you put on because it's got 3-inch walls. I'm going to say, are you kidding me? In a mobile home, we talk about sealing it up. When you take a double wide down the street, they're sealed up when they're being delivered. They're all full of paper. And that's paper to keep the keep the water out. If you take the side off, if any of you replaced your home with a newer park model, and you have a porch on there, they take it off, and in a day or so they put it back together. But it's sealed together until you can marriage those two. In reality, some of the rules are saying you can't have a porch that's attached to your home, then why have a porch? Are we gonna build a bridge?
Thanks.
End of discussion.
Any other board member have a comment?
Is there a second? There's a motion.
Sure, second.
So the only thing I would weigh in on is, for what Ellen says, we put the 30 days out, and I know you said, we changed language on this one. So I would have to, because we changed language and did not give it 30 days, I think there is some validity to putting it back out for 30 days and tabling it. Ultimately, what Bob said has a lot of good points as well. So just realize that if we go to Eagle and say, we're going to show you everything, then we're going to be liable for whatever they say. Realize that. That's one thing I would caution everybody. If you pull them in here and say, come check out our stuff, we can't control it anymore. So that's a part of that I would caution everybody a little bit on. How much do you want to put a spotlight on Sandy Pines from the state of Michigan? I don't know. So I think though, the language-wise changing it, putting it on a 30-day review because of that, I can understand that. So I would agree with that.
But if you just show Eagle that you're moving forward from this point, I very much want to have a.
We have a motion and a second.
Is the motion been seconded? Which motion? Both Scott and I made a motion to postpone it. Is that correct, Scott?
You made it, I'll second.
Okay. I made the motion. To delay 30 days. To delay 30 days in review with as much we can. And maybe some board members should go down to Indiana and check that out.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is I've been in several other parks, but those are rental parks. Everyone I go to is you rent a space, and some of them have sewer, some of them have natural gas, some have propane.
Okay. I do want to comment on your motion. ANSI code is not just a good housekeeping seal of approval. It's the code construction required for those units, and those seals are required to be in this park. With that, Kimberly, could you do a roll call for this, please?
What are you roll calling?
The motion was made to table this for 30 days. That was seconded.
Okay, sure.
Is this for B?
No, this is for C. It's already been voted on.
This for C.
The one that you just read.
Yes, the one that I read.
So an I is the table for 30 days.
What we're gonna do roll call.
Yeah.
But that's what she's asking.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, yes, table. Yes.
Thank you.
Ellen Trippler,
No.
Rick Day,
No.
Bob Deckingham,
Yes, table for 30 days.
Pat Dosma,
No.
Kelly Johnson,
No.
Paul Heffel,
Yes.
Stephanie Stupenya,
Yes.
Henry Beach,
Yes.
Scott Wyman.
Yes.
That's the will of the board. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Was that seconded? Was there a second? Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. 2 microphones. Motion carries.
point of clarification on the motions that were voted on tonight. What passed and what didn't, because the first one and the third one both had motions to table and they were taken
No, there was
in
only
different
one
order.
motion to table. It wasn't supported.
He made a motion, it was supported, that takes precedence over, and then they made a motion, he didn't support it. There was a voice.
I heard your mic on.
I see. Look at the video.
Okay, sorry. So when this resolution gets printed.
Okay, I had a question, and I'm gonna answer that first, and then we'll get the rules, but go ahead and stay there. Okay, that question, there was a motion, but it was not second, there was no second. And there was already a motion on the table. Craig explained that. So it was a procedural issue.
It was the first one that Scott brought up.
Right.
No, it was seconded. We all heard it out here. I suggest you look at the video and review it.
We can, but it was voted on. So, B, 06124B and 0719248 passed. Will of the board was the table. Am I correct in that? All right, Jeff, do you want to give the guidelines for this next portion?
Would love to. All right, so 7:18. We've got, put a timer out there for 30 minutes, and a name, site number, and then your question, please.
Sandy, page 76, on this motion that you're going to put out. I think the 30 days can't possibly start until you have 100% the wordage correct, so that the people actually have the entire 30 days to listen to it. This going back and forth and changing this wordage does not give people 30 days. So once you get that correct, then you post, now you have 30 days to discuss this. Because it's not fair to anybody that may not be here and know this. And you can't just keep changing a motion and expecting everybody to just go with it. It's not fair to everybody here. We are the partners.
Yeah.
Tammy from K42. All I want to know is we just built a brand new trailer porch like all of this is talking about, and we have 3-inch walls. And now I'm worried because how are you going to reassure me that when we're moving forward, I am not removing my 3-inch walls, but yet I will not be able to sell my trailer without moving them.
The resolution that we passed regarding porches does not reference 3-inch walls. You're fine.
I'm sorry, let me interject as well. Again, Facebook is wrong. I will say that again. Facebook is wrong. There was a conversation during our workshop about 2 inches and 3 inches for the porches. Now, if you have a 3-inch wall on your porch, and you have all the heavy-duty windows and all thermal walls on your porch, there's a thing called res check, and it'll come in and say, you are no longer a 3-season porch. You are a 4-season porch. State law says 3-season porches in state campgrounds. If you have 3-inch walls and you have, I guess the technical term is crappy windows, and you fail what's called a res check, you would be considered a 3-season porch. The 2-inch walls, 3-inch walls, I have no idea how it got out there. It's inaccurate and incorrect. if you have 3-inch walls and you're meeting all of the specifications, we are not supposed to have porches that go 4 seasons year-round.
That is not my point. My point is, I have K66.
Yep.
We put a shed in, it was approved. We go to sell K66 and lost the sale because the shed isn't supposed to be there. I want to know, moving forward, why do I have to be the one to backtrack what was approved with the inspector? And now I lost the sale because I have to backtrack. It's not fair. A permit that was paid for and approved is not fair that I don't have the safety in 10 years. Now you're going to say, well, we had to change this. That is not fair, and that is my point.
Okay, so I will answer your question. This goes back to, hey, what's the plan if Resolution C passes? All right, the plan is there is a policy that has been written that, again, we've heard it multiple times. This was shared at the workshop as well as the work session. So this should not be a surprise to any of the board members because they know it's out there. It has not been shared with the membership, but the policy that we would institute is case-by-case basis. Yes. So here's the deal, okay? I can stand in front of God and country and in court and say, when I've reviewed most of the files, when I've been permitted and approved, not a chance. Not a chance. I have a permit for somebody, and it says signed off by the park inspector. Doesn't matter if it's the current one. Well, I said the current one is doing a heck of a lot better job. The ones prior to the current 2 that we have, the permits will say porch, shed, whatever, approved, per park rules. And then when we start digging into the per park rules, oh, wait a minute, it doesn't meet the park rules.
Because you changed it.
Yeah, no, it's not because we changed them. It's not because we changed them. And this is why we're doing a case-by-case basis. If bring your documentation, that's all we're asking, to work through this together. Because I have a ton of permits out there that the park approved. You're right, the park approved per the rules. Your rule, and I encourage members to go out there and actually digest the rule book and read the rule book, because you're supposed to provide drawings, you're supposed to provide information. That information isn't in the files.
Why not?
Some is, and some isn't.
So, one thing that would be...
It's our fault you're incompetent. Yeah, just saying.
No, that's disrespectful. 2, that's not the fact. The fact is, we're trying to clean some stuff up that's been going on for years. Okay, and this goes back a ways. Okay, we are trying to work through this together.
Why can't we move forward?
Yeah, next question.
Okay, so just a point that I would like to make a slight change of. If I could have had a pre-inspection of our spot and found out that our shed was over the storage, which we didn't argue, okay? It was. We didn't know when we bought it that way. So we lost the sale over that. What I'd like to see changed and would be a possible pre-inspection. But when I ask that, it's like, well, that's not the way we do it. It's like, you're changing 1,000 things, you can change this too. So I'd like the availability so we can fix what we need to fix before we sell. And then this person got all pissy at us because they couldn't have a shed. And we lost our sale and have to start all over. So
I agree with the pre-inspection idea. We haven't discussed this, but let's move on to the next person.
Yep.
And
thank you.
That's not my fault. I took so long. I definitely agree with
Thank you, Rick Piper, lot 37, and I understand what you're trying to accomplish here, and we do appreciate your efforts. My question, I'm a keep it stupid, simple kind of guy. I'm the third owner of this property. I've been in the park about 5 years, fulfilling a dream, being in paradise with my family, and now I find out property that I bought was approved when I bought it, and now I'm finding that I'm probably going to be in violation for some of these rules. So, is there any thought of grandfathering?
Yes.
I mean, I came to the town hall and I came here and I understand the problem and I understand what I'm trying to accomplish, but I don't know what the rules are because I don't know if you know what the rules are. Thank you.
I want to thank the board. My name is Joanne Sigley and I'm K32. There was one thing that was stated, which is not factual. There are units that were brought in here, and I know of at least 4, with no walls to begin with. They had plywood up. And we're not talking in the last 4 or 5 years, we're talking 20 years or more. So that's an issue you're going to have to address because they were brought in without walls. And the other one is, I apologize to you, but I did send a notice to the board, and I did ask that you please notify the people that weren't aware that you were making it retro and not a forward-going resolution. I did ask.
Hello, I'm Tasha, we're at K341. I guess I'm going to just reiterate that, and maybe it states in the handbook, but clarity on what grandfather means. Does that mean grandfathered until sale? Grandfather until transfer? Grandfather, and then does the board have the ability to change what grandfather means at any point?
Good question. So the ability to change is the good question. All right, we can digest that one as a board. Currently, the grandfather rule is, again, if it's a Sandy Pines rule, we have the ability to grandfather. If Eagle comes in and says, here's state law, well, we've been not applying state law or following state law. Just let us get off on that one. Forget those. State law, we cannot grandfather. And that's kind of the crux right now on some of this stuff.
But the thing of it is, too, that when we bought ours last year, it was signed and approved by the same time. I'm Lynn, I live in case. And so now you're saying that because I don't have a sliding door, that doesn't.
Policy that we would institute on this moving forward would be case-by-case basis. When you say Sandy Pines signed off on something, was it a for sale by owner that we didn't get to inspect? And it was, I'm just using that as an example. Was it I'm using it as an example. I don't know your particular situation. If it's a for sale by owner, where we sign off on the transfer of the membership only, or is it through our Sandy Pines department and it was inspected? We need to know these. We don't know 100 out there. We don't know if there's 1,000 out there. We don't know how this transacted. Okay, you guys are calling us incompetent and you're calling us all these things. We are trying to fix a pretty serious potential problem that can revoke our campground license, and nobody wants that. We're trying to resolve this together. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm maybe I missed it. I am still looking for clarification on grandfather. like, what is your definition of that? Is it at sale, at transfer?
No. So again, let's use the one that passed on the porches, right? If you have 2 porches now, it's grandfathered in. You get to keep that.
Right, so that's what grandfather means right now.
Yes.
At any point in 10 years, would the board be able to sit here and say, we're gonna change what grandfather means? We can say that grandfather not only means until point of sale, or transfer, or when your trailer is too old to be in a park. So I guess my real concern is for the people in 10 years, we're all good until we have different board members that say, oh, grandfather to us does not mean grandfather.
So again, grandfather to Sandy Pines would be if it's at rule on the porches, you get to keep that. You get to keep that forever. All right. We did hear a request of, hey, can Sandy Pines take a look at redoing that grandfather rule? Okay. I'd be cautious of that, but what does that mean? Because then that can open up another can of worms, right? But what we cannot do, and this is the issue, is state law. MDEQ, Eagle, any of the state law, we cannot grandfather, we have to follow. You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Deb Bouchard from 4177. I'm kind of repeating what other people have said, and I appreciate you as board members. I've been on boards, and I know it can be very difficult, but we talk about the grandfathering for the 2 porches. Last year, just last year, I put shiplap on my porch, and I took the sliding doors down, and I took the back door at the back of the trailer down. And I did it through the permit. My contractor's on your list, so I'm thinking everybody knows I'm good, You're talking about doing on a case-by-case basis. If you do that, I hope it's not just on how people are financially, because I took my siding off. Where am I going to find the siding? Where am I going to find someone that's not going to charge me an arm and a leg? Because we all know how much everything costs to repair today. I just took a tree down here and charged me $5,000 for a tree. Everything is just so expensive. So I don't know if there's any way the state would work with us, because this has just become a mess. But if there was any way to grandfather some of us that have done some of these repairs on the inside, because I didn't realize that was going to put me over the 400 square feet. Again, I appreciate you listening, and hopefully we can find a resolution.
No problem. Thank you.
My name is Dale Cross. I'm K341. I wanted to first off say thank you for your time in doing this. Secondly, the new inspector has been amazing. So if you guys have had the opportunity to work with him, when working with me, he's like, I want to present the problem, but also some solutions. So I know they're not just out to screw you over. He's been very great to work with. So, and I wanted to say thank you for tabling this. I did feel like, to be honest with you, the verbiage that you, our director, came at people and said, this has been posted. And you came down pretty hard on people and said, I haven't gotten anything, but you totally changed the verbiage of what was being presented here today. Today was totally different than, because I read it, and I agree that things have to be compliant with the state. We can't get around that. Everyone's probably going to have to fork up a little bit more money. But the resolution would be like you saying it was something was going to be $2,000, and then today you changed it to $5,000 and did not expect anybody to get upset about that. So thank you again for tabling this. And I I appreciate your time, but have a little bit more grace towards people. A lot of divorces happen over finances, and this is really going to put some people in some hardships. And again, we're all enjoying this beautiful place, and I understand it's going to cost everybody a little bit of money,
But without what people can even imagine of what that's gonna cost them, they're gonna be nervous, they're gonna be worried, they're gonna be anxious. And so, again, until you have some more clarifications and it's posted for a while so people can chew on it a little bit and figure out some stuff, I don't know, I just appreciate your time, honestly, so thanks.
Jamie Wyman, 113. Again, thank you for your time. I'm on nothing to do with being on that board. Thank you for tabling it. All I want to say is, you keep referring back to we have to abide by state laws. I get that. I don't think anybody in this room has a problem from this point moving forward. Leave the walls that were taken out, leave the doors were taken out. We've already been to court, and it was won. If we can show Eagle that we are making steps forward to eliminate this stuff from happening again, I think we're going to be fine. I'm willing to take that risk, but like I said, they didn't make us, when we took it to court before, they didn't make us not a campground, and they certainly didn't make us go back and put anything back in. So if you can show that we're making strides, look, we screwed up over these 50 years, we're going to go from this point forward, and I don't think anybody in this room has a problem with it, not one person.
Larry Munger, D161. Kimberly, could you read back to me the resolution that was passed to delay?
Which one?
To delay the motion?
Steve, the one that was delayed?
Yes.
Larry? So are you talking porches or are you talking trailer modifications?
Either one.
Well, one was passed and one was delayed.
One was passed.
The one that was passed?
You want the resolution read?
Yes, if you would please.
Resolution number 062124.
No, I want the
Who?
delayed motion read.
Like, delete it?
Well, no, the wording of it.
Just the change portion? Or the updated portion?
I believe you made the motion for 30 days, is that correct?
Yes, the motion was to delay for 30 days, resolution number 062124C.
All right,
So the wording can be amended.
That's my matter.
Yes.
The trouble is, your next scheduled meeting is 4 weeks from tonight, that's 28 days. So you can't vote on table the resolution for the Sunday after the members' meeting. Because you've already said 30 days, and it's only 28 days to the next meeting. So that's post a difference or another emergency meeting of some kind.
I would think it would
Yeah, thought you might.
if you're the rule of the board, they said 30 days, I don't imagine the schedule is special meeting.
30 days is 30 days, not 4 weeks. Well, you guys make mistakes, not me. I'm just telling you that you're going to have to schedule another meeting.
Thank you, Larry.
I'm sure you appreciate it.
Check letter K304. So I bought a non-clear bag. If I want to add a garage to my lot, but I have full HVAC or openings in my trailer, is that going to hinder my permit to put a garage?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Sure. So if I apply for a permit for a garage in my lot, and my trailer has openings in it and full HVAC, what was permitted before, do I have to fix that to get a garage, or can I get a garage without that?
No, so again, the policy that we would have in place is if you have a major change to your parking model, which is I'm swapping it out, I'm adding a porch, not a second porch, but I'm adding a porch, you're doing, heating and cooling, those are major changes to the livable space, then we would ask you to get that back up to code. If it is, inspector goes, holy cow, that's a nice, beautiful, open concept. No, I can't approve this one. We're not gonna play that game.
Okay.
We are gonna continue to work with the members to try and make this right. The challenge that we have, and apparently there's a difference of opinion, but the legal opinion that we've been provided by our legal counsel is, it is state law for 400 square feet of livable space in your park model, period. When you start opening those walls up and having an open concept on your porch or porches, you have gone from 400 square feet to 600 to 800 to 1,000. You are now a home or a cottage, and we're not licensed for that.
Got it. So, change to air conditioning, new porch, new trailer, you've got to be in compliance. A new deck, a new garage, we're okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So we violated state law for 50 years?
Yes. The short answer is yes.
Jason, lot 413.
Hold on, I can't. Quiet down, please. Can't hear him. Can't hear him.
A question with regard to the two porches. We've got the older 80s one, and we just had one put in 80s, or a little bit newer to white. Grandfathering, if we wanted to update the other porch that we have, are we still grandfathered, or would the grandfather go away if we're updating the other porch? How does that work, this grandfathering thing?
If you're updating the porch?
Yes, like so we've got one of the old 80s brown ones that's just old, and we've got white ones that we just had installed last year. So two porches, one's brown, one's white. The brown one, of course, if we want to get that one replaced so the windows can open and close.
You have two porches now?
Yes.
Your grandfather in for two porches.
So if I can I put in another porch?
So if you want to, if the brown one's bad and you want to replace the brown one, you get to replace the brown one. You have two porches, you get to keep two porches.
Okay. Thank you.
What if we have the old lady that makes that?
Yes. Fair point. So now you get to keep your two porches. But if you have open concept where you got walls cut out and things of that nature, that's where we would say you gotta get back on the code.
Okay.
And a new air conditioner.
Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Brian Cronin, K306. Wondering, as you post the new resolutions, could you also post links to the Eagle codes, what the state says we are compliant to? I've tried to do research online, and I'm not a guru in that nature, so I can't find exactly what you're referring to when you say the state law says.
I feel your pain because we've been doing that for probably 3 months now. So
if you
but we
post the links for us so that we can read that, that'd be awesome.
Fair point.
Paul Whitty from K298, and I would like to thank the board for I'd like to thank the board for passing the watercraft resolution. We've waited years for that. We've watched the beach erode, and I know there's a lot of other reasons and issues with the lake, but that one has been costing us a lot to protect the beach. And so we're very thankful that we heard that. Thank you.
My name is David. We're here at 1049. We've been in cars for probably 21 years now, and in my neighborhood, every year asks me which project because we continually have done things over the years, gone through the permit process every time. So I don't know what I have to do to go find my own documentation, but will the park have our documents if we come forward to ask on a one-by-one basis?
We have files for every site.
Because I know I've submitted drawings and drawings and drawings.
That will go back.
Okay.
That's where we said case by case basis, right?
So the case by case, it's not a financial, it's a looking at how it was documented.
This is not, yes. So again, to take a step back and answer this question, this is not, hey, you've got deep pockets, so we're gonna make you do this, and, these people over here don't have deep pockets. It's the documentation, right? Because state, if anybody's had to deal with state, they want to see documentation. So we're going to have to do that law.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for is documentation.
So another part of my question is the definition of livable space versus recreational space. As I've gone through to do things over the years, one of the questions and things I was told is the livable space is where you sleep, cook, go to the bathroom. The other space is where you have recreation. And so the porch, however it's used, is your recreational space, and that's why you can't have a bedroom on it. I think one time we talked about putting a bedroom on a porch, something like that, didn't do that. Talked about dividing it, it's large open space. But the livable space was considered the park model trailer. So how does that change, whether it's an open door or no door? It's what you do in those spaces. So it's considered livable.
The livable space is based on what we've had our research. The livable space is every structure has to be separate, okay? When you remove a window, remove a door, cut out walls, you are not keeping your porch separate from your park model from your second porch. You are increasing that livable space. Does that make sense?
Well, I guess it's open, yes, but it's not it's the livable is where your bedrooms are, the kitchen, actually maybe it's living room. Hard to say.
Right, I don't sleep in my living room.
Right.
That's a livable space.
Yeah.
Right? So when I think of a house, right, there's bedrooms up there, right? Your park model to meet that ENZ 119.5, you have a maximum of 400 square feet. It has to be enclosed. That's your separate structure. When you start pulling those things out and opening those, you have now added living room on your porch. You've added, that is now considered livable space.
What were those porches for then, if they were to be a place to sit and watch TV or play cards or?
The porches are considered separate structures that you're not conditioning the space. You're not heating it and cooling it. It's not part of the heating and cooling system for your park model.
But if it has a separate heating and cooling, it's okay.
As long as it is not open, as long as you are not opening those walls, removing those doors, because that is then considered space added to your 400 square feet.
A separate topic or question in regards to the process of revising this resolution and posting this resolution. What do we as members expect as a timeline to see revisions and time to respond to those revisions before the emergency 30-day meeting?
So good question. We'd have to take that, because we've had multiple meetings on this, the 3-hour workshop, and apparently we're still sidebarred from that. So we could take this away with the board. We're going to have to schedule another review of this quickly, and then we could make any adjustments, and then we would follow our regular process of posting that and putting it out on the website for review.
So is that approximately a 7-day turnaround to see it on the website?
I can't answer that right now. Okay. The board is going to have to get pulled together and figure out when they can meet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for what you do. It is a lot, I understand.
All right, we're going to take these last three because we're actually over, but this is a hot topic. So go ahead.
Well, mine will be short. My name is Tim. Yeah, I recently had.
What's your lot number?
4294.
Thank you.
But I recently had my porch torn down and rebuilt. And I had 3 appointments with your park inspector last year on my calendar. I showed up at my lot 3 times, and 3 times he stood me up. He didn't come. When you say you're not responsible, if your administration, you're responsible for that.
I don't think anybody said we're not responsible.
Well-
I think we all have some responsibility.
Well, you're responsible when somebody that works for you does not attend the meeting, but yet he still signs the permit. And he made the meeting. Okay, 3 times I was with my builder, and he called in, and I was standing on my property, and told my builder, that's fine, go ahead, I'll sign it. And we took our door out based on that commitment right there. So, to me, you have to stand behind that, because it was your employee that approved it. And that's all I'm gonna say. And if you make me pretty boring later, I'll pretty boring. But I'm in business, and anytime my employees do something that is counter to my policy, okay, and a customer brings it up, I still pay for it. So I think personally, what you're doing is good to get a handle on this. Personally, you need for a grandfather clause and on that porch situation. And should that become an issue in an event in the future, let the people on a case-by-case in the future take the door out or replace the door at that time. But all this rules about giving them points and giving them fines and all this stuff, and if you get 6 points, you're under review, that's hogwash. We're here to have fun. And again, when your employee doesn't show up for meetings that we have, yet he approves it over the phone, shame on you.
Yeah. So again, we'll continue to do this on a case-by-case basis. You know, you're gonna bring your stuff, we'll have a conversation. If you recognize the resolution that was read today, the feedback and the board made that recommendation of the points, fines, things of that nature. That is not in the resolution, that was removed.
On the second resolution, you see, there should be a grandfather clause in that. You gave the grandfather clause for the B. And in the C, the grandfather clause should say that if Eagle, at some point in time, says they're not compliant, that individual needs to become compliant at that time.
Yeah, again,
But you have liability when you approve the addition.
We'll go through, I get it, I understand what you're saying. Right now, the legal opinion is we cannot grandfather those in because it's a violation of state law. So we will continue to work through that process, okay? Thank you.
Then you ought to be liable for the cost of the change of that.
And we'll do a case-by-case basis review.
Don't accept it over.
No, it was signed. It was signed.
Okay, so again, I don't know your file. I don't know your file, so thank you. Name and site number, please. Thank you, Chair.
0493. We bought our trailer from the original owner, but it's very old, but we love it. The doors were removed when we bought it. Now I measured the doors and I hear people saying, you know, we might have to spend a little bit of money. Well, good luck in finding a 60-inch wide, 76 high slider door. They don't make them. If they do, I can't find it. I Googled it all over. I found one place in the state of New England that will custom make the door. If you send them the sizes, they will give you a quote. The other door is only 24-inch wide, 72-inch high. And I don't think you can find a door that size. So apparently any trailer that has a slider, good luck in finding that door. And if you do find it, please let me know where they are.
Vacation land.
Thank you.
Roger Goodman, Lot 0551. You guys have any idea how many homes your park has for sale right now? With windows and doors removed? It's on your listings.
On the website? Yeah, we do. And the conversation with the sales department is already having, you gotta put your windows back in, you gotta put your doors back in.
You can't have pictures on there for people to come and look at them with all that removed, and you're saying it's illegal. It can't be up for sale.
It can be up for sale with the understanding that that's gonna get corrected. That's part of the sales negotiation. That's already been, when there's a pre-listing that's gone out, when Kent and the team goes and does this, they will go in and they will take a look at that, they will put pictures out there, they will have that conversation that this needs to be corrected, this needs to be corrected, this needs to be corrected. Same thing with the shed. The shed is in the wrong spot. Yep, we get it. We still want to sell it, it'll be part of the negotiation.
Okay, I bought the house like that from you. Now what?
You personally or this scenario?
Me personally.
Again, I can't answer your question. It's on a case-by-case basis. We'd have to review everything that went through that process.
It's pretty ambiguous. I say case by case and nobody knows.
I don't think it's very ambiguous at all, sir. It's, you have an issue, bring your stuff, we'll bring our stuff that we have, and we sit down at the table and we figure it out. It's not real ambiguous.
I bought it from you. I don't have paperwork from that.
You don't have paperwork from Sandy Pines.
I have paperwork from Sandy Pines that we bought it, not on those modifications that your park inspectors approved.
Okay. So again, bring your paper, bring your stuff, and we sit down on a case-by-case basis to review it. All right, thank you. All right, we are at 39 minutes, so thank you, everybody. Have a good week.